Yo, what's up? My name is MOONBOY, and today we're making techno. Let's do this. Techno is one of the first EDM genres to be created, and it's making a powerful comeback. And this is because techno has an entire universe of worlds inside it. Creativity in techno is booming with artists like Anyma, and people are going viral making techno remixes of popular songs. And they're literally going mainstream to the radio. People are even making the most hardcore sounding techno ever as well. Some of my friends as well are finding huge success by remixing pop songs and turning it into techno. Shout out to Dewitte. This is why I truly love techno. It's all about pushing boundaries and combining other subgenres to create this newfound energy, like even DMB techno. Alright, now I'm hyped. Let's get into it. Today, we're gonna be making an energetic, dark, and ethereal techno song start to finish. Step 1 to making techno is the beat. So let's get started. Let's open up our DAW. I'm using Ableton, but you can follow along in all DAWs. They're all pretty much the same. Now, if you hit this menu, just press tab for the timeline. This is where we're gonna build our song. Now, we need to set the speed of our techno song. So if we go up to the top left over here, we can change our project's BPM speed. This BPM allows a song to feel epic while still being danceable. Next, we need some good drum samples to build the beat. Let's use samples from my new Matrix sample pack. Now, let's create the audio tracks for our drums by pressing Command T. Now let's start with the kick. Let's zoom in by clicking and holding this top bar right here. Let's duplicate this kick to create a 4x4 pattern by pressing Command D and Command L to loop. This kick is gonna carry the drop alone. In techno, it's all about that hard thumping kick. Now that we have a loop we're happy with, we're gonna zoom out and duplicate this to 16 bars. This is gonna be the length of our drop. Now, after these 8 bars, we need to give a sense that the song is progressing with intensity. So we're gonna add percussion after the 8 bar mark. We're gonna start by adding a clap on every second beat. Now let's add hats on every offbeat. Now let's add rhythm by adding a hi-hat loop. It sounds dope so far. Now let's duplicate this and fill out the rest of the bars. Here are some other cool techno drum variations you can choose from. Good job, now you know how to make an epic techno drum beat. Now the drums are feeling a little bit lonely, so let's move on to step number 2, the bassline groove. Here's how to make a rolling acid bass line. Let's go into our browser on the top left, click plugins, and then we're gonna open up Serum. We're gonna select the area we want our bass line to play and press Command Shift M to open up a new MIDI track. This clip right here is where we're gonna draw in our notes. We're gonna write the song in the key of D sharp. So let's double click to create a note. We can drag to create the length of the note. A great acid bass line is in a 1/16th pattern. So we're gonna select this and duplicate it till we create a 1/16th note pattern. We can drag this clip to loop it. Now it's time to sound design. We're gonna start with 2 oscillators that are saw waves, and we're gonna pitch this down a little bit. I love messing with saw waves. So I kinda like this tone right here. Now we're gonna add a filter, and then we're gonna choose an LFO to automate the cutoff of the filter. Next, if you hold Option Shift and click this part right here, it'll make the automation more linear. Tick this Option B so it's automating both oscillators. Now we got kind of a whoopee sound. We're gonna bring this cutoff down, and then we're gonna move this point to make it a saw pattern. And then let's put trigger mode, and we can move the speed up to. We can move around this automation parameter a little bit to find the sweet spot of what we like. Next, let's bring down the octave of the oscillator B, and let's turn up this unison option to create more voices. So we'll make it very wide and stereo. Sounds so dope. If we play with the resonance, it'll create more of an acid sound. It's all about playing with each individual parameter to create the sound that you're looking for. Now you can take this one step further by adding a second LFO, and now you can have it move in different rhythms. So for example, if I were to create a complex rhythm here, this sounds kind of sick right here. Now you can play around with the effects even more by adding some compression to bring out the sound. and little things like hyperdimension, phaser, chorus to make it wide. And lastly, we can add another EQ and a bell curve, and even a high pass. You can even adjust the low pass amount by filtering through the types of low pass. So sick. Lastly, you want to make sure it has some bass, some sub. So turn the sub on right here. Let's put direct out so it's not being affected by the EQ. And then let's make sure we turn the octave down. And that's how to make an epic acid bassline groove. Here's an example of all the different kind of basslines you can make with this technique. If you want more synths like these, you can find over 150 presets in my new production suite, Matrix. All right, now for step number 3, the vibe. It's very important you start your songs with some inspiration, some sort of vibe to go off of and build your song around. For this song, I wanted something dark and ethereal, something to entrance the listener. I remembered hearing such a sick ethereal vocal from Grimes in one of my favorite songs from her, Crazy. Insane. Okay, sick. So let's sample that for the inspiration. I'm gonna move everything to the right. You can select an area you want to have empty space in, and then press Command I, and it'll move everything perfectly to the right. Now for these 8 bars right here, I'm gonna add the vocal, and this will be the intro. I like to use locators. If you right click the top of the timeline right here, add locator, and then add one right here called the drop. I'm gonna create a new audio track by pressing Command T, and this will be where the vocals are. By the way, if you didn't know, you can download any YouTube video to sample just by typing in YouTube to MP3 on Google. So here is the sample. So dope. So I like just this part right here. I want this part to duplicate every 4 bars. So I'm gonna grab the first bar section right here, put it at the end of the part I don't like, and then I'm just gonna fade them together, like this. And then you can kind of keep fading them. So now it's just like this infinite loop of her. Now I wanna have a deep, underlooming bass synth underneath this to give it this even darker, heavy vibe. We're gonna open up Serum again. And this time I'm gonna use one of my synth presets in my new Matrix production suite. These are perfect for this kind of style and fully customizable. For example, this Reese bass. So sick. So this time around, instead of adding a MIDI track, we're gonna record our custom automation with this preset. Make sure you click this button right here to arm whatever synth you want to play or automate. And let's go ahead and hit record. Alright, awesome. We have a really dope vibe now to build the song off of. Leave a like if you're enjoying these sounds so far and subscribe for more. Let's keep going. Step number 4 to making a techno banger is the vocals. Now I want to create something original. So I hit up my good friend and amazing vocalist Maddix, and we recorded a bunch of vocal harmonies to have this kind of like angelic ethereal feeling. And here are the vocals. So many different harmonies. Here is how I create dark and ethereal vocals for techno songs. So the trick here is layering multiple harmonies and even adding in some dissonant notes here and there to give this dark feeling, but also angelic vibe. So for example, if I layer this one with this one, it's all about like making it clean, cutting it nicely. So here's a good example of what I did. Sounds so big and epic. Let's make these vocals sound like they're being sung by this magical godly being. We're gonna do this by adding a ton of reverb and a bunch of other various effects. So we're gonna throw on serum effects to our vocals. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add some reverb and make it really wet and extend the decay to make it feel like it's a big cathedral. Now we have this big space to work with. Next, we're gonna go to an oscillator and turn on noise, make sure it's audio in, and note latch. What this does is it keeps it connected to the BPM of your song, which is very important. So now what we're gonna do is click and hold LFO1 to have it automate the sustain. This is the volume of the whole synth. Bring the sustain all the way down and then bring the automated parameter up by clicking and holding this part right here. And then we bring down the decay. Already sounding kind of interesting. Next, we're gonna put the LFO1 and also have it automate the reverb. So bring the mix down and then the same thing, the parameter of LFO1 up. Now we have this fluttering feeling. We can make it faster by putting up the rate. Sounds so cool. Now here's where things get very interesting. We're also going to automate, bend, and shape time itself. So we're gonna turn off BPM so it is not a fixed synced rate. And then now we can move around the speed of this LFO. I want it to have sort of a very sharp cutting sound. So I'm gonna click and hold this point right here and drag it to the left. We can also smooth it out a little bit by bringing up the smooth knob. My God, it's so satisfying, so magical. Now to make this sound even more beautiful, we're going to also automate the stereo field itself. So we turn on filter, put the cutoff up, and we're gonna get a new LFO, and we're gonna drag this to pan. If you don't have headphones on, I recommend putting on headphones so you can hear it's literally going left to right in your ears. It sounds so nice. Leave a like if you enjoyed this effect. Comment below if you're trying it out. You can find more amazing presets like these in the description below. Now, before we continue, I want to share with you something I've been obsessively working on for months, Project Matrix. The whole idea behind this is to create something truly special to help people become better producers. I'm so happy to say that this is an exclusive mentorship program. Joining will give you access to not only professionally made songs, but project files, samples, presets, literally everything you need to create amazing electronic dance music start to finish. If this sounds awesome to you, you can join the waitlist and learn all about it in the description below. All right, now for step number 5, the drop. Here is where we put all the steps together to create one epic techno banger. We're gonna start by creating the drop synth. First, we're gonna drag Serum into a new MIDI track. And then now we're gonna pick a preset that we like by clicking this browser over here. I can see a lot of possibilities with this one. Now here is where the magic happens. Go into your MIDI effects and then add an ARP. This effect will repeatedly play notes for you at any speed you want. The trick here is bending time to create a mesmerizing sound. We click this button right here to turn off syncs to make it more freeform. And immediately you can hear how insane the sounds you can get from it. So what I want to do is have the drop start with the notes playing like super fast, like, and slow down as the drop progresses. Isn't that such a sick sound, dude? Oh my God. I've been having fun by doing this with almost everything, just like I did with the vocals. Once you play with time, everything becomes just so unique and just mesmerizing. Since this is gonna be at our drop, we're gonna create a MIDI track, and then the root note of our drop is D sharp. Hold shift and use the arrow keys to quickly change octaves. Now we're gonna automate the speed of the ARP and pitch bend. We do this by clicking the rate, and then if you press A on your keyboard, it opens up the automation timeline, and then we can click and hold apart and then start bringing this up. You can also hold Alt to change the curve. Sounds so sick. Now to automate the pitch bend, we're going to go into the MIDI track by double clicking it. Click this button right here for the automation tab. And then now we can click MIDI control, pitch bend, and then now we can click on these envelopes and then create a pitch bend. It's all about bending and shaping sounds, making them sound more unique and organic. Now all you have to do next is adjust the parameters to your liking, to your taste, to get something that you're happy with. This is what I did. So sick. Now I'm gonna add a couple more synths in the drop. Like let's add one underneath this bass to give it more of an impact. So nice. Together. Now let's use that same gritty bass we had in the intro and put it in the drop. It's all about connecting everything together. We're gonna click arm right here so we can play the notes on our keyboard, and then we're gonna hit record. Sick. Now I'm also gonna add some of the vocals in the drop to kind of fill it out, give it this like breathy space, and just connect every element of the song together. Sounds so nice. Love that, oh my god. Now to finalize the drop, we need to build anticipation and excitement. We're gonna create a custom riser using the sounds in your drop. What we're gonna do is grab just like the first note of the sounds in your drop, and then go to an empty space in your song and just paste it there. Now that you have this small little blip, you're gonna go into your audio effects and throw on a reverb. We're gonna turn the reverb nearly to like 90%. And we're gonna max out the effects by turning the diffuse, the decay, go crazy with the decay. Sounds insane, right? Next, create a new audio track separate from the group, and then click this box right here and click resampling. So now what this will do is whatever you have playing, it will record it. So we're gonna click the record button on the resampling track and then click record in Ableton right here. Crazy. Now what this does, it creates a whole world of sound with just your specific drop sound. Now you can go ahead and delete the little blip and then close the reverb out, because all you need now is this crazy sound. This is where it gets really creative. We're gonna move this over here and then press R. That reverses the sound. Now you have the drop rising up. This will get the listener familiar with the drop before it really drops, building the anticipation and getting them used to the tonality of your sound. What's really awesome is you can do this with multiple elements in your song, like even the vocals. There's limitless possibilities with this technique. You can also duplicate the sound, put it in warp, complex, and put it down an octave. Now you have a deeper version of it. You can pitch it up and it'll sound like, and then even another octave. And by layering them together, you can create a really, really unique riser based on the sound of your drop. Sounds so insane, right? All right, let's get to the final result. Make sure to leave a like on this video and comment what you want to see next. Also, subscribe to my channel. I do so many free tutorials for you guys and drop amazing products and music, DJ sets, all kinds of things you don't want to miss out.